Welcome to the Empower Women Show with Jane Trimble, the show that elevates and empowers women in the community by sharing their story and showcasing their business. Today in the studio, I have Felicia Fox of Food with Felicia Fox. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just start by sharing who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do.
Sure, I'm Felicia Fox. I was born and raised in Saskatoon. As soon as high school was done, I hit the road to Calgary.
Yeah.
I was pursuing my obsession with television production. So I went to SAIT in Calgary, studied broadcasting, more on the production side. So, you know, directing, switching, producing, audio, things like that, you know, behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I stayed there for maybe a handful of years, and then I came back. I got a job at Global. A couple of years later, I went to CTV and was there for a long time. And then just a couple of years ago, I got laid off. But before that, alongside my television career, I had an obsession with food. I was very curious about food. So when I got laid off, I decided to combine both my passions.
Yeah.
So television production and my passion for food.
Yeah.
So I spent a year after I got laid off developing in the digital world a YouTube channel. So I produced lots of video recipes. So I have a YouTube channel full of video recipes, and I'll continue doing that. However, about a year into that, something felt missing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So one night I woke up and it felt like I was getting a download.
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing.
Mm-hmm.
I started writing out my dream job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I posted it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I do today. I was booked immediately.
Wow. What is this dream job?
So my company is called Food with Felicia Fox, and I go into the homes of seniors and families and I make food for them.
Okay.
And it fills my soul with joy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
Fills my soul with joy.
Yeah. It is my life purpose work.
Wow.
For example, a lot of my clients have been with me from the beginning. So at the time of this recording, I'm about 8 or 9 months into my journey.
Okay.
So these seniors tell me, Felicia, because of you, I can stay in my home longer, right?
Beautiful.
And it's so beautiful. And so I have half seniors, half young professionals, you know, mom and dad with little kids.
Ah.
And I help them with their food prep and their meals and feeding them the food that they want to feed their children.
Beautiful. And do you do all this on your own?
I do have a team.
Yeah, I was going to say, this sounds like a lot of work to cook for all these people.
When I got booked immediately, I realized that I needed to create a team.
Totally.
So the way I've structured my business is through acquiring subcontractors, people with like-minded affinity for food and feeding people. So I have a team of people that go into the homes, and they have their own clients, and they do the things that they need to do for that client. And because there is no end to people that need this service.
Why?
Well, you see that the population is aging, and a lot of seniors, they want to stay in their home. They do not want to go to assisted living. The life expectancy in assisted living isn't as great if they are able to stay in their home. And really, some of my clients, they maybe only have me 2 hours per week, but that 2 hours per week helps them stay independent. So I go into their fridge, I clean it out, I make sure all the food is fresh, I prepare some meals for them, even if it's soup in the crock pot or whatever, or even get groceries for them. That allows them to stay in their home longer. They just need a tiny bit of support. Without it, they would be shipped to assisted living.
Wow.
And then with the aging population, you know, because I was booked up, I had to start saying no to people, you know. So that's why I started training others to come on board with me, so we have a further reach. Plus, I'm registered in Saskatchewan, so I can go all over the province to help people, even in rural.
Oh, I love it. So you do go out to rural communities.
We do.
That's great. I hope people listening to the show will reach out to you who
I hope
are
so
rural
too.
and need that help. What is this connection with food to living longer at home? And it sounds like feeling better and fulfilled.
Right. So I found that when a person like me or any of my team goes into the homes of clients, as opposed to ordering food from like a box or ready-to-eat meals, it's a different vibration. It's a different frequency because somebody is in their home connecting with them. And in my company, I make sure it's the same person every time. So you develop a trust bond and a deeper connection. So when I go in, I form conversations. Even if they're not there, it's my frequency in the kitchen. I'm cooking with their pots and pans, their ingredients, the food that they want to eat. And there's a deeper level of trust. And because of that, people are healthier and more open in their heart space.
Wow, open in their heart space.
Yeah, that's true.
And it sounds like you take their lead in terms of the food that you make as well. It's not like you're coming in and saying, hey, like this is your way to health and happiness. You're listening to them, what their needs are.
That is what sets my company apart. I actually sit down and I listen to what they want. Of course, I offer inspiration if they're stuck, because a lot of people don't know what they want. So through a conversation, like the intake process, I interview them. I say, what's your lifestyle? What do you do? How many kids do you have? Do you have allergies? What do you want? For example, I had one senior lady who really wanted me to make her a meal that her mother made for her. So she helped me recreate it. She told me what to do. I made it, and it brought her back. You know, it was full of nostalgia, and that is a healing modality as well. I'm not there to say, you know, you have to eat this because of this, right? Like all of the health, like lifestyle choices out there. I'm not one to go in and say, you have to do this. I say, what do you want? What do you hope for? What's your goal? You know, how many kids do you have? You know, are they in activities? What's your schedule like? I can help you do anything you need. Yeah.
And why is food important for you personally? Like, what was it along your journey that made you go, food's really important to me and I'm going to pursue a career in it?
Right. I found that I was very curious about food. I knew I never wanted to work in a restaurant because restaurants can be stressful. I didn't want food to equate to high cortisol levels for me. I needed food to be calming and nurturing. I needed food to be medicine. So when I had my children, of course, like any good parent, you experiment on your children. So I started noticing, you know, I was a career woman working in television at the time, all kinds of hours of the day or night. So I was busy. I started just shoving processed food, and I realized then that they couldn't process their emotions. So when I switched, I made the effort to make homemade bread, homemade pizza, homemade mac and cheese, everything homemade. They started regulating their emotions in a better way, and they started to become better individuals. You know, we all got along better, and we excelled as a family. So, and then I knew I was onto something then. So then when my parents got older, I took some time off and I cared for them, and they bounced back. They had more energy. I knew food was something that I needed to pursue, and it was a very deep curiosity for me.
Isn't it wild that something as practical as food can have such a deeper meaning? And, well, you said vibration earlier, so...
Yes.
Share with me what you mean when you say vibration.
Well, every living thing, and for this purpose, let's say food, every food has its own unique vibration. And so I think as an individual, we all have to figure out what foods work with our own body and biology. So that's why I'm curious. Some people excel in the carnivore diet. Some people excel in the vegan lifestyle. And there's not one thing that works across the board. It's very individual. So in terms of vibration, I come into somebody's home and I study the patterns, I study the people, and I study the ingredients. And I feel into it. What's best for this person? I offer what's best. But you know what? People really do know what they want. Nobody likes to be told what to do either. So I follow their lead and I do it in the best way I can. And in terms of just vibration, when I go into a person's home, I really respect their space. You know, I really respect what they want, and I try to impart that in every minute I'm cooking in somebody else's kitchen.
So beautiful.
It really, really is.
It's so beautiful.
It really is.
You just sound like an angel going into people's houses. Please come to mine. Can you be my angel?
I will come to your home. Yes, I will.
Okay, and the other thing I want to tap into here is I'm hearing just a lot of intuition and you using your instinct. Talk about that for me. How important that is.
It's very important because when I was working in corporate media, there was no room for intuition. However, in terms of when I was directing, you gotta directing 3 hours of live television every morning, you do have to have some kind of intuition, even though it's very structured. But in terms of management and the personnel in corporate media, you know, it was too hard. There's too many rules. You weren't allowed to emanate creativity. So in my own business, I am free to create, and I just sit and I tap into it. What's next? What is next for me in my business? What is next for my how can I serve more people? How can I expand into this gigantic business? And it's really my own story of becoming in terms of expansion. I just recently acquired a business partner, so there is expansion happening. There's a lot of things I don't know. So I didn't go to school for business. I went to school for television. So I rely a lot on intuition and discernment and other people that I trust. But in terms of food, I think food speaks to me. I think ingredients speak to me. I think I have a knack for understanding what I love creating recipes, my own recipes. So I feel like food does speak to me in a very beautiful way. But I also love following recipes because I learn that way. A lot of my clients, my young professional clients, they provide the recipe for me. They're busy. They don't have time to cook, but they still want say in what they feed their kids. But I learned through all of that.
I love it. And if somebody wanted to connect with you, was curious about working with you or hiring you or working with your team, how do people find you?
The best way is I'm all over social media on all platforms, Food with Felicia Fox.
Okay.
But email me. That's the best way. I don't answer my phone. I'm too busy.
Yeah. So email.
Email.
Okay.
contact@foodwithfeliciafox.com.
Love it. Thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
on the show today and sharing your powerful journey and story and what you do with us. You know, long may these angel visits and all of these homes throughout all of Saskatchewan and beyond, it sounds like, continue.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Until next time, Queens belong on thrones. Let's put them there.